Hi, I'm Amanda Skelton, an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and today I'd like to show you how to make this beautiful card. So it's obviously got a lovely butterfly design, and it's got a really nice cutout on the front, and then you can open it up and then it will stand up as well. So that's a really pretty card, and that is going to be using the Beautiful Butterflies bundle. So you have the lovely stamp sets there, and then you have 2 pages of dies as well that go with it. So really nice set there. So this is the first one I've made with this set, and I'll just show you a couple of others I've made as well, just to give you an idea. So you get you can also get the embossing folder as well, which is a really pretty one. So this is using the embossing folder, so you can see this here, and the die from the die set actually will cut out. So there's this big butterfly here. The die from the die set will actually cut out this once it's actually embossed as well. It's the right shape. So here you can see this is just the embossing folder behind, but I've actually cut out the embossed butterfly from that set as well. So it's just a really nice detail you can get on that one. And then the other one I've made is this one, which is a shaker card. So again, I've used the dies to cut out the aperture and the little window, and then I've filled it with beautiful sequins. So again, and that's using the stamp set from the same set. So some really nice, and this is really nice for for doing sentiments as well. This little label as well. Okay, so this is what we're going to make. So what we're also using is Bokeh, Beautiful Bokeh designer series paper. Again, you get your 4 or 5 colours, and you get your 2 sides as well. So the first is sort of like an out of focus dots, I suppose, and the back colours are like a watercolour sort of splatter pattern. Again, really useful, going to be really good for backgrounds and things like that. So you can see that I've used lots of that. Right, we don't need any more of that. So what do we actually need for this card? So you just want half a piece of A4 white card, and score in half. And then you want a 1/4 of an A4 piece of white cardstock. That is going to be for this top layer here that we're going to cut out and add on to it. And then you want some Bokeh DSP, and that measures 5 6/8 of an inch across and 3.5 inches down, and that's going to become your layer for your white card to go, your white butterfly to go on top. Okay, you'll also want a little bit of extra white paper, a white card for this top layer. Sorry, that's what we've got this for. I mean, an extra bit of white for your sentiment, and you might want a little bit more of this. I've used the Bokeh card or paper for the center of the butterfly. It just gives it that nice sort of darker color to sort of link it back to the background color here. Okay, so first thing we're going to do then, so once you've scored it in half, hopefully you can see the score line here. What you want to do is die cut out. So like I said, you've got 2 pages here. We're going to use this one for the top layer here, but the one we're going to use to cut out the front one is this one here. So the bigger of all of them. So we're going to use that, and I don't know if you can see, but there is a line, 2 lines here, and those 2 lines need to line up with your center line here. So the lines are on the other side as well, so you need to line up your die lines with your fold lines like that, and that's how you're going to get it so that it's at the right place. So let's get our die cutting machine ready. Okay, so you need your normal layers. So I'm going to put it in that way so it doesn't go over this side as well, in case as you can see, these are slightly used, so it might leave a little bit of a mess if I do that. If you need to use a little bit of washi tape or something to keep it in place, then please do. If not, just place it, and you want to try and make sure it's obviously centered left and right. So I think I'll move that one over a little bit. Right, the light isn't great for me to see if that is. I think that's roughly on. So I'm going to place that on gently so it doesn't move. Okay, and that goes all the way through. And then, oh, I did get that quite straight, so that's good. Then you cut that one out. You obviously got your extra bit there. And then, let me just move that one out of the way. And then you can see it's still attached. All you need to do is get a pair of scissors, and you just want to snip along your fold line up to where it's cut. And then it'll just take that excess off for you. There you go. Simple as that. Oh, I'll keep that card because we keep bits of card, don't we, everybody? Okay, so then you can just fold, and that's the basis of your card. So the next thing we want to do is add on our card. Now I think I've done that a little bit too wide, you can see that. So I'm just going to trim that off a little bit. So it literally is just a little tiny bit. Hopefully that should be okay. Yes, I'm happy with that. Yes, that's better. Okay, and you simply want to stick that one on. Like I say, you've got the two sides of the paper. You can decide which. The dot, the outer focus side, tends to be the darker colour, which I want for this because it gives it a better contrast for the white butterfly to sit on top of. But you can obviously choose whichever. And again, you want to do it so that it's roughly top and bottom centred. Make sure it's straight. So that looks about right there. So that gives it a really nice background for that. Okay, so the next thing you want to do, and there's two ways that you can do this. So what we're going to do now is make this top layer here. Now I have used a blending brush to add a colour layer to this, which I will do for this one as well, and it's up to you. If you don't want it to particularly highlight the edges, which it will if you die cut it first and then use the colour, it will get into the edges because it will pick it up. If you don't want that look, then do your blending first on a piece of card and then cut it out. So that's what I'm going to do on this one. So my colourways, so I've got two colours. So I've got balmy blue, which matches the blue bokeh paper, and I'm going to do dark blue detail here. So this is using one of the stamps for these little details here on this, and then I'm going to use pale again on top. So I tend to do darker and then a paler layer on top. So this is going to be in a pale colour. So let's just give that, and then we're going to be using, so that one can go back in now. I don't know if you've seen, but I tend, when I get a new die set, I draw around with a pencil. Oh, let's get that out first. I draw around with a pencil so that I can make sure I've got all the pieces and know where they go, because they never fit back in again, do they? Once you've actually got them and taken them out, you can never find where the heck they all go, and you can also see if you've missed any. Okay, so we're going to use the inside one here. This outside one is what I used for the shaker card, that one, but we're going to use this one for this, and I think it will fit that way. So I'm just going to do some blue on one half of this sheet. So you want to give that a good load up your brush, and then go on from the side so that it's not too much of a blob when you just place the brush on. So it's always good to sort of brush on from the side. It just takes that little bit of excess off when you first load up the brush. And it's better to add a little bit to start with and layer up and add the colours that you want, just so it's not so blobby, and it's much easier and even if you add, you know, just build up the layers gradually. Right, just a little bit more over here. So it doesn't look very strong a colour, but you see it against the white and you can see that it is. So I'm going to do a little bit more over here. And a little bit more here, just to make sure. Yeah, that should be fine. So I'm going to again get my die cut machine. So I'm going to do it from that side. I could even do it that way, I suppose. Yeah, do it that way. Oh, let's do it the other way up so it actually cuts the paper and not the plate. Okay, now there's going to be lots of pieces to take off of this. So let's see what we've got left here then. So a lot of these pieces actually come out. You can see how many pieces come out here, quite a lot of the small pieces even. So let's keep going with that. Right, are we done? It looks like we are. Okay, so then these other little holes will allow you to take the butterfly out. I just use my pokey tool and I just use that to go underneath it. So you can see you can see it on top of the blue. It doesn't look very strong colour, but it just adds a bit of detail. So that's going to be my layer on top. So now I'm going to use, these are for the wings for the background that I'm going to do. So I think they are sort of almost like a mirror image of each other. So I think I'm going to do it roughly like that. So the bigger section, the deeper section seems to be here and here. So that's the way I'm going to do that. And you basically want to have like a left and a right. And then I'm going to use that one for both the rights and that one for both the lefts. So that's what we're going to, I think that's, yeah. So that's roughly what we're going to do. And I'm going to do that in the Night of Navy. So we'll have a nice contrast. Just make sure it's going to come out nicely. Yep. So I'm going to do roughly centre it there, one there, and then one here. Okay, and then I'm going to get the other one that I haven't used yet, and I'm going to just try and roughly even it up. Okay, you're not going to notice too much if it's exactly even because you're going to have your top layer on top. Okay, so there you can see you've got quite a nice contrast with your colours there. Next thing to do then is to die cut. So I've got a little bit of the, if you want to, you could use a bit of your blue here. I'm going to use a little bit more of the Bokeh just because it stands out a little bit more. And I'm just going to die cut, I think there's two in here, so you've got a small body and a large body, so we're going to use the large body. that one back in. And again, we're going to die cut that one. So I'm going to choose that edge because it's a bit darker, so I want the darker contrast. And we'll need that one again in a minute just to do our sentiment. But first of all, let's take out the body from there. Okay, so how are we doing with this then? So before you put this layer on, actually you can do it before that layer. So that's going to go there, but you can see that it's not really tall enough for this card, for this body here. So, but here it is. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cut this in half. So I basically cut this, you can probably just about see it there. I'm going to cut this one in half, give it a gap in between for where the sentiment goes, and it'll elongate the body. So that's what we're going to do there. So let's first of all get the sentiments. And I think I'm going to do it in the navy to stand out. So I've got a bit of white card. Actually, that's not the piece of white card I was intending. That piece of white card. And I'm going to, first of all, die cut. So that one goes there because I've got my little outline pencil. And then on here I've got two nice labels which fit nicely with the sentiments that are included in the so you can see you've got the smaller one will do the so thankful for you, and then the larger one will do your happy birthday. And to make sure that I fit it on properly, I'm going to die cut the white first, and then I'm going to stamp on top of it, just to make sure that I don't stamp too far close to the edge of the paint card and don't have space for it properly. So, oh, helps if you, oh no, got it there. Okay. Ooh. There we go. So I don't need that anymore. And we've finished with that. Okay, so we're nearly there. And actually the other thing we have is, find it in my chaos, is these beautiful purple adhesive backed sequins, and that's what I've added onto here. Now one of the sets are white, which is really good because it sort of reflects the colours around it, so if you don't have like a pinky colour you can always use the white ones, and that'll always go with anything. So first of all I've got my sentiment, and so we can see that's going to fit nicely on there. Yeah, that comes out nicely. So I just want to centre that, make sure it's straight. Oh, could be straighter, but it's good enough. Okay, so this is where you want to roughly check. So we can stick this one on now, and I just stick the middle section on, and I sort of like fold it a little bit like this, just so it gives it a little bit of depth, so that these come up and just gives it a nice look. So I'm therefore just going to glue, oh, she says, hopefully glue. Oh, my glue's not coming out. Let's try the other one. One always plays ball, the other one doesn't. Oh, is this one going to? Oh, it's thinking about it. It's going to be a big glug in a minute because I can feel it's resisting. And then I'm just going to do a little bit around there as well. Oh, you can see the big glug coming out. Okay, So I'm going to position it about there. So that should be okay for that. Now we're going to raise this one up. So I've got some sticky pads. So I'm just going to cut these larger ones into thirds. And then I'm going to put one there, one there. Okay. And then when you realise roughly, helps if you have it the right way up, of course. And then I'm roughly going to put that across the middle of the butterfly. So that's where you can then see, oh, what have I done with my antenna? There we go. Okay. So that's when I can see roughly. So if I want to cut that there, what I'm going to do is get a little pencil. So that can go roughly there. That's going to go there. So I know I need to cut below that line. So I've just done a little pencil line there. So I'm literally just going to cut his body in half. It won't hurt him, I promise. Okay. Which means then we can put that piece at the bottom, that piece at the top, and then we can fill the gap roughly with that. Okay. What I'm going to do is put the body, top body on first. Again, where's my glue gone? There it is. Okay, so I'm going to put him about there. I'm going to rub off the pencil just in case you can see it. Okay, and then if I put the happy birthday there, then the body wants to go just under there. So roughly lined up with where these two holes are. Oh, my hands are sticky. So roughly where that is, just make sure it's centered. And that means then you can see the body like that. So, last thing to do is put our sentiment on, and then we're nearly done. We just need to add our sequins. So, just doing that so that it's roughly where the centre is, both sides, and it covers the gap in the middle there. So that is mostly our card done. Right, what colour am I going to do? I might do the white just to keep it fairly neutral. So these are already sticky. So I just do two. Actually, I'm going to do the larger one and the smaller one over here. And then a larger one and a smaller one here. So sort of more on the background, and then you've still got it here. If you wanted to, I haven't done it, but if you wanted to, you could cut out another one of these butterflies, and you could place it so that when that's in place, that's behind it. So, and then you can write your sentiment on there, or if not, you can just write it on the back, or actually even in there. So you have got options there. But I hope you've enjoyed that. So that is using the Beautiful Butterflies bundle, and the Bokeh papers, and the lovely purple sequins. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Please leave a comment if you have. I hope you managed to make it yourself if you'd like to recreate it. Hope you've enjoyed it. As always, you can find me on Pinterest and YouTube as Amanda's Crafted Cards, and you can find all the products on the Stampin' Up website at www.amandascraftedcards.stampinup.net. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.